Well, for the last 4 years, I've been working with the teaching team. It's the First Australians and Social Justice teaching team in the School of Human Services and Social Work. And that's working with my colleagues Glenn Woods and Amber Seckham. And we wanted to come up with a way of providing students at the master's level and undergraduate level with an experiential learning opportunity, but we wanted to do that without overburdening Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities and organisations with floods of students. You know, we have over 200 students every time we teach undergrad and up to about 90 students when we teach the masters a couple of times a year. Another one of the things we wanted to do was to give students an experience that they could have in their own local environment that would let them do self-led learning. We know that when we're teaching topics like First Australians and social justice, that can disturb some of the students, you know, sort of inherited ways of seeing and thinking about, you know, certain communities, that there can be some resistance to that content in the classroom, and that can sometimes turn into an us versus them sort of result. So we wanted students to be able to have this self-led learning activity in their own community, to just let them engage with the content in a way that was real, that was applied to their own lives and that was relevant to them. That was another factor. Another thing we wanted to attend to in this project was that we have a lot of mature age entry students. These are really busy people. They've got full-time jobs, they've got families, and they're undertaking study as well. So we needed something that was flexible for people to have an experiential learning experience, and also that was low cost and achievable for, you know, a wide range of students both on campus and online around Australia. Well, we decided to combine our wish to have an experiential learning experience for our students with a digital storytelling assessment. I've done a lot of work on digital storytelling in research contexts around storytelling and disability. I've also looked at how we can use digital stories as resources for policy making and practice. So it was sort of a natural flow on then that I wanted to see how it would perform in an assessment capacity in teaching and learning activities. So we designed a digital storytelling assessment that would ask students to walk mindfully on country wherever they live. So whether that's Perth, Mount Isa, Brisbane, Sydney, Hobart, all of our students could engage with that. And we asked them to ask themselves a key question, or two questions. The first question is, how visible and valued are Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures and country in your local living environment? And the next one is, why might this be the case? So students are asked to have an open, embodied and in place learning experience, which works really well and is informed by Indigenous teaching and learning principles, that they then combine with the course content to do a critical analysis and really deepen their understanding of what they're seeing in their everyday life. So for a lot of students, this meant seeing familiar things in unfamiliar ways, and making things that had been invisible to them before highly visible and starkly visible to them. And a lot of students were really shocked at what they saw but didn't see in their own living environment. So yeah, from then we collaborated with a number of scholars in School of Human Services and Social Work on a teaching and learning grant led by Dr. Pat Dorset, where we looked at, well, is this kind of assessment capable of producing transformative, immersive, intercultural learning outcomes in the same way that, for example, a trip to Nepal or a trip to the Kimberleys might produce those kinds of learning outcomes. And through that study with Pat Dorset and also our colleague Steve Lamar, we did find that the outcomes from our digital storytelling assessment were comparable with those kinds of major trips, which cost a lot, which are fantastic. But you know, we were very heartened to see that we could get those outcomes with an assignment like this. So we then went from there to collaborate with Ashley Burgess in the Griffith Film School, and we developed a digital storytelling technical module that's now available online for all Griffith conveners and students to use, because we found that our students were quite often very anxious about making a digital story. You know, we had stories about crying on the bathroom floor in the middle of the night, with anxiety about, you know, making a digital story. So we thought if we had a resource that could step students through it, be suitable for beginners as well as people with a bit of experience, that would help not only the students but conveners too who wanted to try this out. So Ashley's been great. We've worked together. We got a small grant. We've thoroughly tested and evaluated the module, and it's now ready to go for anyone to use. So in terms of outcomes, people might want to access the technical module itself. It's a step-by-step process. It walks students through generating a digital story over a period of 6 weeks, so they don't leave it to the last minute, because we know these assignments, you know, really can't be done at the last minute. So it steps them through that. It provides tips. Ashley's done 3 mini lectures to guide students as well, which is really, you know, it's a really nice treat for them to receive that kind of instruction from someone at the film school. And also it includes links to some easy software that's free that they can use. So, and it has tips, you know, like if you're feeling anxious, you know, just download the software, have a play when it's low pressure, things like that. So we found that that's been really well received, really well evaluated. It works well for masters and undergraduate students, and as I mentioned before, it works for on-campus and external online students as well. People might also like to access, we've got a really major report that's been generated from the Teaching and Learning Grant with Pat Dorset that summarises an extensive international literature review on the topics of intercultural, immersive, transformative learning, and also provides all of the detail of the research we did around transformative learning outcomes from our digital stories. Resources. Part of the digital storytelling module, there's a tip sheet for conveners. I think that's a really good place to start for people. People are also welcome, you know, to contact me about our experiences with using the digital story assessment. And I think your blended learning advisors will be invaluable if you're looking to implement an assessment like this.